how far can the New York Rangers actually fall? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Pucked Up Podcast. It's just Danger and I this week. Dee had some last-minute travel plans she had and forgot to tell us, so we're missing her this week. We are recording on New Year's Eve. Actually, we're recording right now during the third period of the Winter Classic. We watched the first two periods, and it was an ass-whipping. So Happy New Year to everyone. This is also the first uploaded episode to the new Pucked Up Podcast YouTube channel.
Hell yeah.
We figured it was time to put this in a place, and we'll still have all the LTN Media stuff linked together. But yeah, this is the new. It's cozy in here. There's a lot of room.
There's so much room for activity.
So much room for activities. We will also, if you guys do want to watch any of the older content, any of the older episodes, we will have a link to all of that stuff in the, it will have a playlist set up for you guys so you can see all of that. Before we get started, make sure you guys like and subscribe, hit that notification bell, let you know anytime we upload anything new. We talk about hockey around here, y'all. So with that, I guess let's jump into the PWHL stuff.
Yes, Chris, we do have some big news from the PWHL. We have our first trade of this season happening between New York and Toronto.
Ottawa and Toronto.
What? It literally says New York and Toronto. Ottawa Charge and Toronto Scepters have completed the first trade of 2024-2025 season. Ottawa acquires forward Victoria Bach and defenseman Jocelyn Leroy from Toronto in exchange for defenseman Savannah Harmon and forward Haley Sakamura. Clearly a tough decision to be made. The coaches were saying how it was hard to give up certain players to get something else that the team might need, but definitely is something different. You don't really hear much of it. It's a much bigger shakeup in the PWHL as compared to our boys in the NHL.
Absolutely.
Whereas that's a big shakeup within the league, but there's 6 teams.
Yeah.
And then we have the 3 stars of the week. So our third star of the week for the PWHL is Marie-Philippe Poulin from Victoria of Montreal. She scored the winning goal in Montreal's 3-2 win over Minnesota, my home state, on Saturday, which extends their point streak to 3 games and helping the Victoire earn their 3rd straight win. Second star of the week, Katerina Marazova, who set up the opening goal by Emily Clark at 6:15 into the game, and then scored the 3-0 goal for Ottawa at 6:53 of the second period in Sunday's victory. For the first star of the week, we have Emrys Maschmeyer with the Ottawa Charge. She made 34 saves, tied for the 3rd most in her career, which is saying a lot, being that this league has been a thing for 2 years.
34 saves is also no joke. That's a lot of shots on goal to stop.
Absolutely. And that's just the 3rd most in her career, which just goes to speak to how incredible she really is.
Oh yeah.
But she had stopped against several of the top reigning shooters that you would expect to see throughout the league. But big ups to Maschmeyer for getting the first star of the week.
Oh, hell yeah. All right, what are the points at? Because I know they do the point system. Alex Carpenter is still in the lead with 40 points at the 3 stars, so yeah, that's cool.
Abby Barine from Montreal with 30
Yep.
points. And
Sarah
Sarah
Fillier.
Fillier, New York with
Moshmeyer
30
is
points.
5th. Poulon
30 points.
is
Jesus,
5th.
Marie
Yeah.
Philippulian, 30 points. Claire Thompson from Minnesota, 30 points.
Michaela Cava, 20
Wow.
points. Yeah, Kendall Coyne Schofield, 10 points. All right.
I'm
Yeah,
a little
Alex
surprised
Carpenter,
to see her
man.
at 10.
Yeah, I feel, well, Minnesota's definitely struggled a little bit this season to start.
Right.
They're starting a little slow.
For sure.
Because I did
Shocking for a
watch that game
Minnesota
against
team.
Montreal, and Poland had some nice goals.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, for sure.
she did score the game winner, which was big. But yeah, I know, big ups to the PWHL
Big
as
ups.
always. Fucking love you
Absolutely.
guys. Sliding over to the men's side of the 3 stars of the week, our third star of the week between, I should know the weeks here. I guess it doesn't matter. It's just last week. But our third star is Zach Werenski. He is a defenseman for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Werenski matched Dahlin with 7 assists in 3 games as the Blue Jackets won 2 of their 3 contests to move them within 4 points of the final spot in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. Again, it's December. Let's fucking stop talking about playoffs already. Wild card doesn't matter right now. But he notched 3 assists, including a helper on Kirill Marchenko's tie-breaking goal with 2:12 remaining in regulation in a 5-4 triumph versus the Montreal Canadiens, December 23rd. Werenski then recorded his second career 4-assist performance in a 6-2 victory against the Boston Bruins on the 27th, before being held off the scoreboard in a 4-0 loss to the Bruins December 28th. The 27-year-old Werenski has appeared in 37 games this season, 11 goals, 28 assists, ranking among the top NHL defensemen in average ice time. He has 26 average minutes on ice, and total ice time also leading the league in 972 minutes. He's tied for first in goals with 11, power play goals with, he's second with 5. In points, he's third with 39. Power play points, third in 17. Game-winning goals, tied for third with 2. And assists, wow. Assists, fourth with 28. Power play assists. Dude, Zach Werenski is having himself a fucking year. Mm-hmm. And this is good because he missed most of last season with an injury. Second star of the week is Rasmus Dahlin, defenseman for the Buffalo Sabres. Dahlin shared the league lead with assists and points with 7 in 3 appearances to power the Sabres to an unblemished week, which is a hell of a turnaround when they dropped 13 straight games. He set a career high with 4 helpers in the 7-1 win versus the New York Islanders. Only 4 other defensemen in Buffalo history have reached that many assists in a single game. Bill Haight, Phil Housley, Brian Campbell, and Tony Liedman are the only other ones to do it. Dahlin then helped the Sabres pick up victories against the 2 participants in today's Winter Classic. Notching 2 helpers in a 6-2 triumph against the Chicago Blackhawks and 1 assist in a 4-2 win over the St. Louis Blues. The 24-year-old Dahlin, the number 1 overall pick from 2018 draft, sits 5th among defensemen with a .09 points per game this season and 11th overall with 26 points, despite missing 8 of Buffalo's 37 contests. Yeah, I mean, again, that team definitely needs all the help they can get, and if their number 1 guy can really get that defense going, and apparently the offense, that's big.
Right.
But our first star of the week is someone I feel like I haven't really said much about this year, but Mark Scheifele, the center for the Winnipeg Jets. Scheifele registered 4 goals and 2 assists in 2 games to lift the Jets to a perfect week and an 8-2-1 record in their past 11 contests dating to December 5th. Wow. He posted 3 goals and an assist, including his 10th career hat trick, all with Winnipeg, and
Wow.
6th game-winning goal of the season in a 5-2 victory over the Toronto Maple Leafs. I forgot how to read that word for a second. Scheifele became the second career player in franchise history to accumulate at least 10 hat tricks, following Ilya Kovalchuk, who never played a goddamn game for the Winnipeg Jets, as well as the 5th different Jets Thrashers player to score 3 goals in a single period. He followed that with a 1 goal, 1 assist game. His 13th multi-point performance of the 2024-25 season through 37 appearances. That's nuts. In a 4-2 triumph over the Ottawa Senators, December 28th, the 31-year-old Scheifele has compiled 22 goals and 22 assists this season, pacing among the leaders in game-winning goals, tied with second with 6, shooting percentage, goals, which he's tied for 5th with 22, and points with 44. He and the Jets will face the Nashville Predators tonight on Prime Monday Night Hockey. That was last night. And I believe the Jets got the victory there.
I think so.
But that is our 3 stars of the week. D, I don't know how the fuck you do it. For those that didn't see the unedited, just be glad I edited all of that.
Yeah.
For both of
It
our
was rough.
sakes.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
You know who else is really sorry? The Dallas Stars.
They are.
Because
they were naughty.
Big time. The Dallas Stars today, this was released, or I'm sorry, yesterday, this was released as of time of recording. So on the 30th, the Dallas Stars were fined $100,000 by the NHL for violating the CBA rule that strictly prohibits on-ice activity and travel during specified dates during the holidays on Monday. The Stars held an optional practice on December 26th, which players participated in. Yeah, it's... They are not the first team in recent memory to get in trouble. In 2022, which is something we also covered for sure, the Toronto Maple Leafs were fined $100,000 for doing the same thing as the team traveled to St. Louis early
Maybe just
the
don't
night.
Fucking do it.
Dude, right? The Philadelphia Flyers were fined the same thing in 2015 for flying earlier than permitted to a game in Nashville. I believe Winnipeg did something last year that they got in trouble for. So like
it's not that fucking hard to not get fined, guys.
I get it.
Maybe just don't have a practice on the day that they say, hey, don't have practice on this day.
Yeah, and guess what? You won't lose $100,000 fucking dollars.
It's a crazy thought, but you might not get in trouble if you do it that way.
I mean, I get it. They're 4th in the Central. They're struggling a little bit. I can see the appeal of getting a second practice, or just like an optional, quote unquote, optional practice. But if I'm front office, I'm gonna be like, I don't want to pay the NHL $100,000, so fucking don't do this.
Yeah, like it's explicitly stated.
Yes.
Do not do this thing. Do not get fined $100,000.
Yeah.
Get to go on and have a nice day.
Exactly. Violated Article 16.5b. So they're straight up an actual, we know exactly which one they broke.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not that fucking hard, guys. Like, it... And it's shocking that it's happening so soon. Like, because we talked about this 2 years ago.
A couple years ago we talked about how much trouble they got in.
How absurd it was that it was happening then.
If you're the owner and you see this happen, what are your thoughts? Like, what goes through your head in that scenario?
Okay, guys, I need to know. 2 plus 2 equals.
Here's
And
my
can
question.
my entire coaching and front office staff agree that 4 is the answer?
Yeah, you kind of need everyone on the same page, and I feel like
Yeah.
my look would be I would look directly at Pete DeBoer, be like, "All right, head coach, this was your decision, so
Mm,
let me see that 100K you're paying this."
yeah.
Tell you how fast that would detract that from ever happening again. Like, I'm all
Right.
for the players being dedicated, but we've seen in this league with how grueling the schedule is, how physical the sport is, these guys need fucking days off. Like,
Right.
this isn't one of those, oh, they'll be okay. No, like, give them the time off that they're asking for.
Right.
Don't make them work
With
on
how heavy
Christmas.
their schedules already are.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you've extended this season how many times? They earned this much off. And I think you and I were talking about it off air. Like, that's something I've always respected about this sport,
Oh,
is
absolutely,
that
yeah.
they give that, yeah, you might have to trade off Christmas for New Year's, but that's to be expected.
Yeah.
But everybody gets Christmas.
And normally, the Winter Classic isn't much of a trade off because, yeah, there are some games on New Year's Eve, but normally on New Year's Day, only one game is
Yeah.
happening. Obviously,
Yeah.
because of college football thinking they're fucking better than everyone, the Winter Classic happened on New Year's Eve instead of New Year's Day. Listen, I'll say it because no one else has the fucking balls to say it. Stop messing with holiday traditions in sports. I'm looking at you, NFL, you motherfuckers, putting it on a Wednesday for Christmas. um,
Oh, because they had to have the Christmas Day
that they
game.
had Christmas games this year on Wednesday. It's like, fuck you. Um, but I mean, yeah, I like normally there's just one game, and there is only one game tomorrow. Um, but yeah,
Right.
I feel like giving them Christmas off is important.
Yeah, I agree. They
Um,
deserve it. Like, they continuously put more and more in for us, the fans.
yeah, and the games have
Mhm.
been getting better and better.
Right.
Um, Speaking of games, this is actually really cool. We can do this for time for recording. But the Winter Classic is officially over. It's Friday for you guys watching this, but we can actually recap the game. It ended with the St. Louis Blues winning 6-2. Um, Overall thoughts, Danger, on like the ambiance, the stadium setting, the game, everything. What are your thoughts?
Before recording, Chris and I were kind of watching the game,
Yeah, we
getting
watched the
into
first
it.
two periods together.
We did for the first time in a long time
Yeah,
because
we haven't
life
watched the
sucked.
game in forever.
But I hated the St. Louis jerseys. Didn't mind Chicago's. And as a Wild fan, an avid Wild fan, neither of these people do I like. Like, it.
Big rivalries for sure. Big
Right.
divisional
But
rivalries.
fun rivalries too, to an
Oh yeah.
extent, But my other big issue with the first layer of the Winter Classic this year is St. Louis played the Wild 2 years ago for the Winter Classic. Why are they playing again so soon? And we've talked about this, we've bitched and moaned about it. Like, we don't necessarily have to rehash it, but it is a serious concern when St. Louis, of all the teams,
They just got and this is
they just had it
Chicago's
2 years ago.
fourth or fifth one.
Yeah.
You know,
I think we broke it down in an episode last year on the podcast.
when they announced it, I
to
think is when we broke it down.
yeah. But it's just kind of an insane thing to think about. Like, why are certain teams getting favored so heavily? for games like this.
I know. And it's not like they can't put a rink outside in hot weather because they did a stadium
know what
series in LA where the Kings played the Ducks and nothing happened when that shit was directly in the
Right.
middle of Los Angeles. So,
But I wonder if some of it is what, like, because they largely are baseball stadiums, but what if it comes down to, and this would be pathetic, like what baseball stadiums people want to watch hockey at? Like,
maybe. I don't know. It
what
feels
is
like
the deciding factor with it, you know?
it feels like they're catering a lot to the original six teams. Because I mean, Boston's done a bunch, New York's done a bunch. I saw someone say that the Winter Classic should always be original six teams, and I'm like, well, we'd run out of fucking options very fast.
Too quickly.
There are
Too
30,
quickly.
32 teams. What we say, and I say this every year, and I'll continue to say this every year, but every team should get one before another team repeats. I think that's fair. You can tell
Or
me half
something
the
like
fucking
this.
teams in the league haven't even had one.
Unless it ends up being ever completely fan voted for, that's the only way that I could see it being fair.
And even then, it's not fair because look at teams like the Maple Leafs and the Canadiens,
Right.
like the Canadian teams. Those fan bases are huge because there's only 16 or eight teams.
They
6 teams.
are, but I don't know
6
how much they'd want to commit to housing an event like this.
Well, I mean, because they have the Heritage Classic normally, which is usually
Right.
reserved for the Canadian teams. There's
Right.
been a few Canadian teams in the Winter Classic, but like, that fucking irritates me, man. Every team should get one. But instead of beating a dead horse, what are your thoughts on
Right there
like
with you though.
the atmosphere at Wrigley Field to have a hockey rink in the middle of one of the coolest fucking baseball stadiums in the world?
It, well, some of the only times that like they didn't really show a lot of the stadium shots that I saw. Maybe I was just too focused on the game itself. Except for when, because we were watching Chance perform, because
Yeah,
we
Chance the
stand
Rapper.
Chance here.
Oh yes, big time.
But I felt like they could have been a little bit more excited and loud. Is that maybe just my cozy little setup here in my headphones with my noise cancellation and
Just turn that shit up like I'm immersed.
Right. But I felt like they could have given more, but not the worst like fan reaction I've ever seen.
And I think it's harder to gauge that sort of reaction too with how far away everyone is. Because they were talking about it on there or on the broadcast itself. Like how different that is for players to adjust to because you're used to that noise right on you and even goalies like you got to think about depth perception for goaltenders. I think that definitely is something that could be stadium setup, that could be just fans. It's probably shitty weather in Chicago right now, so maybe they're like, fuck yeah, but fuck. You know.
Right.
Overall, I was not surprised with how this game finished. I assumed that the Blues would. I think I even said it to you that I would not be shocked if it wasn't a blowout. We got ourselves a pretty obviously planned fight between the captains, Braden Shen and Nick Foligno.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was a good scrap too. That was a real good fight.
It was. It was good. It was a good scrap. And then Shen, I think, is the one that finally took the knee.
Yeah, he was
very
like, all right,
obviously.
I'm done. Because he caught him with a heavy shot and it rocked him. He
did.
I was like, dude, I don't know if you want to fight a Foligno.
Shook him a little bit. Yeah. He very much was like, all right, yes, sir.
And they were up 4 or like 5-1 at that point. So it's like Braden didn't even have to do that, but good on the captains for giving the crowd a show. And overall, another successful. Big shout out to Cam Fowler, who we'll be talking about in our TikToks. So if you guys aren't following us on that, definitely do. But in his 1,000th game, scoring 2 goals. Also being the first ever player to celebrate their 1,000th career game at the Winter Classic, which I thought was a really cool stat. Cam will forever be a Duck in my heart. But yeah, that has wrapped up weird that this is on New Year's Eve, but here we are. Obviously, we probably won't hear for another couple months who next year's Winter Classic is going to be. That's normally announced around the All-Star break, and seeing as that's the Four Nations face-off this year, I assume somewhere in that tournament we will probably be hearing who that will be. I think it's time to dive into the big news that we've been hearing. There have been a lot of rumors, and Elliot Friedman, who, if you're in the hockey world, Elliot Friedman, what he says is gospel. It's always happens. But there are a lot of reports that the New York Rangers locker room have essentially quit on Coach Peter Laviolette. You're looking at some quotes from Elliot Friedman. He said, "There's nobody that has better sources in the Rangers than Larry Brooks." When he's writing that, because this is direct quote from a New York Post columnist Larry Brooks, who's very known for his inside with New York teams. He says when he's writing that, it's not just his opinion. He's getting directly from someone. He's getting that directly from someone whose opinion carries weight. Obviously, we've seen the trade with Capo Caco. We've seen the trade that they've traded Jacob Trouba. There are massive talks about Mika Zibanejad getting traded. Chris Kreider might be on the chopping block. And when you look at their position, they have dropped very significantly towards the bottom of the NHL. I think they are 25th in the league. Let me just confirm that for you. They're 26th in the league. They are 16-9-1 this season. They have a they have a goal differential of a -12. They are 2-8 in their last 10 games. Obviously, Peter Laviolette is a coach who is not exactly known for his warm and fuzzy demeanor. I guess this is a good segue into our question of the week. With all the reports coming out, everything that we're talking about, how big do you think the blow up is going to be in the Rangers organization? Do you think we see more trades? Do you think we see them clean house front office, new head coach? How big do you think this is going to get?
I think what needs to happen is just for it to completely implode and, like, inside out, everybody.
Just let the shit actually hit the fan.
Everybody goes.
Yeah.
Everybody but the players that are under current contracts. You know what I mean? Like
the producers. Like, you're not going to trade Sturkin. Right. You're not going to trade Adam Fox.
Right. I don't necessarily think that that's what's going to happen right away. But I think we're here for a multi-year process at this point.
And it's crazy because look how good that team has been the past few years. Look how good they were last year. Like, we were there's a shot they win the cup last year.
Yeah. I mean, they were kind of a sleeper pick. I mean, to an extent.
What the fuck happened?
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
Is it that? Because that makes me think, we've talked about toxic environments in the past. Is that what we're looking at out there?
We've been talking about it the past, literally the past 2 or 3 episodes. We were talking about it because obviously with it's everything that's been going on with the Buffalo Sabres. How long fucking last year They were in 82 games, they were 47, 22, and 13. They made the first round of
Yeah.
the playoffs, losing to New Jersey in 7 games. The year before that, they lost in the conference finals to Tampa Bay in 6 games. They were 52, 24, and 6. Like, this team has the past like couple years been hot. Last year was a wild year for playoffs for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
it really was.
but like it blows my mind because on paper there's nothing wrong with this team.
Right.
Like, this is a roster that should carry you into a deep cup run. But I don't know if it's the coaching, because let me tell you how the locker room works for those who have never actually played a team sport. Um, if you hear reports of your team quitting on the coach,
Yeah.
if I'm front office, the first thing I'm doing is I'm looking for a replacement as the skipper, because like that's your team needs a leader and they need to trust that leader. And when you're 2-8 in your last 10 games, what the fuck is that telling you is happening over there? Like, you're trading people away, you're just benching people, you're scratching people for like no reason. I don't, again, and this is a team we've been talking about with Matt Rempe, continuing to bring him up. He's not doing shit for you. I don't know. That's why I'm like, I feel like the first thing that needs to happen is you need to get rid of the coach. If you're gonna try to cut a cancer, you gotta cut it out. And that's you right now. It's sounding like Lavi's that guy, and I understand why they moved on from him in Washington, because it wasn't working. And now look at the Capitals. The Capitals are a top 5 team when no one
Yeah.
expected it. You know,
Yeah.
as far as trades, I don't know who you can trade on that team that you're not going to regret trading in the future, you know? Because like there's a lot of guys that aren't doing anything, but like also at the same time that could also be due to like toxic locker room, not, vibing with the coaching staff, your front office, like all of that stuff can be
Right.
taken into account, but there is a very serious problem in New York with the Rangers. There's a very serious problem.
Right.
So something needs to fucking give, man, because that team is way better than they are looking like. If you guys want to get your questions of the week heard, let us know in the comments. Hit us up on our social medias. You can email us, like we always say. We do accept carrier pigeon. We'd love to hear from you.
Hedwig.
Yes. Even I don't know if Universal will let us have Hedwig, but we'll make it work. But yeah, we would love to hear from you guys.
Hedwig-shaped animal.
Just an owl, just any owl,
Right.
as long as it's not Arrow, because God, that bird crashes and everything. It's brutal. I think it is time for our naughty boys and our hurt boys.
And we do have some naughty boys.
Couple.
A couple. 3 since last week. And one of our collective, at least Chris and I's, favorite boys, Patrick Maroon from the Blackhawks, was fined $3,385.42 for elbowing Maverick Brook.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they were wrong. No, I'm not.
It was
I'm kidding.
pretty aggressive elbow. I don't think it was intentional,
It
but
might
he
have
got
been
him.
an aggressive elbow, but we love Patrick Maroon in our house.
We love Patty anyway.
So we see Maddie Mitchkoff from the Flyers also get fined $2,473.96 for high sticking Quentin Byfield. And then we have the big boy on the list, which we talked about earlier. But the entire team. The
The whole
Dallas
organization. Yeah.
no big deal. Were fined $100,000. No big deal. For violating the collective bargaining agreement between the NHL and NHLPA, for holding practice allegedly. I assume at this point it's allegedly
Allegedly. I don't know. It seemed pretty cut and dry.
right.
This one seemed pretty cut and dry. You don't have much of a defense.
Allegedly. But for holding practice on the 26th, the day after Christmas. Allegedly. Again, we talked about it earlier. I won't go down the fucking, or won't get on the soapbox, but it's not that fucking hard to not lose $100,000.
Yeah, there's a real easy way to keep that money.
It's really not that hard to lose that much money. I would love $100,000. That would change my life.
Same.
That would be amazing. Like, it's really not that hard.
Yeah,
It's really, really not.
that's my question: is who's paying the fine?
Right. Anyway, so those are the naughty boys, and then we have the hurdy boys.
I do actually have a tweet that Elliot Friedman just posted about the Foligno fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did
it was
say?
Apparently Shen who asked for the fight, and he even took the shift for Jake Neighbors. And he said I would have come back to the bench if Foligno said no.
That's funny.
He said Shen said he wanted the memory on that long walk back to the dugouts. I felt like a UFC fighter. 100% knew that shit was planned.
Oh yeah. It was too perfect. But that's one of the things I love about hockey though, are those like
hey, you want to fight?
And
cool, bro.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
do this.
Where on the mic'd up episode years later, that's exactly what you hear. You want to go? You
want to do this?
We'll go. And then they just drop the gloves. Like nobody's really mad at each other.
Yeah,
but
and then they high five afterwards. Or the two guys that fucking waltzed back to the.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that was a Dallas Stars player, I think. But yeah, it was fucking great. So for the hurdy boys, or those unfortunate enough to have to stay home on New Year's Eve with an injury and or illness, right? So for Anaheim, we have Brock McGinn with that lower body injury. He is on IR, expected to be out until at least January 5th. And John Gibson with that illness, just still listed as day-to-day as of.
I think he has the flu.
Something like that.
Which sucks. That sucks.
Right? Especially over New Year.
I had pink eye in New Year's once.
Gross.
Yeah.
Ew. Ew. For Boston, we have Hampus Lindholm, aka Santa Claus, if you know, you know.
Santa Hampus.
With that lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 5th. And then in my notes, it says as of the 1st of December, he remained week to week per Connor Ryan of the Boston Globe. I have no new or updated injuries for Buffalo or Calgary.
Wow.
For Carolina, I have Jack Drury, the hand injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 20th. And Shane
Gostisbehere.
They
call him Ghosty.
But, right?
Easier to say.
He's Ghosty for sure. His true BFFs call him Casper. No big deal. He's got an upper body injury. Expect to be out until at least January 9th. And then as of the 30th, it says he'll be out for a while. Chip Alexander of the Raleigh News and AMP Observer reports Monday. So as of this week, I don't know if I want to believe what Chip says. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Chip's a good guy.
I kind of feel like Chips might be spreading fake news. But I have no idea. Maybe he'll be out for a while. I don't
Chip
know.
might be a good guy. I don't know.
And Chip might be a great guy.
Chip might be
You
a good
don't
guy.
really know. But I kind of feel like he's the Gaston to my Belle at this moment in my life. I don't know why. It's the most ridiculous comparison. Anyway. For
I don't know what this
Chicago,
episode is. This is what happens when you let us do anything on New Year's Eve. We are
without
unsupervised.
D.
Without
Yes.
D.
Without the adultier adult of the three of us. For Chicago, we have Alec Martinez out with that neck injury.
How with that
On
Nick
AR.
injury?
With that Nick injury. I was Australian for a second. Expected to be out until at least January 3rd. And the notes as of the 30th of December, it says he remains on IR, but is listed as day-to-day ahead of Tuesday's Winter Classic matchup versus the Blues. I think he's pretty happy that he didn't play. I don't remember seeing him.
He didn't.
He didn't. He wasn't.
He didn't. Neither of them
stupid
played
enough for that. For Colorado, we have Ivan out with an upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 11th.
I was today years old when I found out there was a player in the league named Ivan.
Right? It's great. I love him. He's my favorite. Because I can pronounce his name.
It's super easy. Ivan.
Ivan. And now somebody will come on and be like, it's Avon.
I feel like, fuck you, no, it's
not. He is week to week, the notes say, but will be go on injured reserve. Evan Rawal of the Denver Gazette reports.
Well, Evan can't
apparently
didn't proofread clearly.
I feel like that was somebody speaking it. I'm old. Okay, nobody's gonna get that reference. Anyway,
old.
Like you used to be able to just have little voice recorders.
Oh yeah, I remember the voice.
And that would be like the shorthand that you would say into the voice recorder.
Will be and if on if there or.
No, you leave all of those words out. Will be go on injured reserve.
Will be go on.
Yeah. Then we have Miles Wood with an upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 14th. As of the 28th, it says Wood is not close to a return, but remains on his timeline in the MCU, ? Ryan Bolding of NHL.com reports.
I mean, that's good, though. There's no setbacks, nothing, get that injury return timeline.
He is healing as expected. Right.
This is good news.
Right. Oliver Kylington, upper body expected to be out until at least January 25th, and no further notes on him. For Columbus, we have Justin Danforth with an lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 4th. Eric Gabranson with that shoulder injury on IR, expected to be out until at least February 2nd. Igor Chinakhov with an upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 18th. For Dallas, we have Mason Marshman with an upper body injury, expected to be out until at least January 11th. For Edmonton, we have Alec Regula with that knee injury on IR, expected now to be out until at least January 3rd. So I think we're sneaking closer and closer to a return date for Alec. For Florida, we have Nico Mikola, who's listed as day-to-day with an upper body injury. Of Jonah Godoyevich with an upper body injury, expected to be out until at least January 2nd.
Nico Mikola is such a great name.
really is.
Beautiful
Very
name. It rolls.
satisfying to say.
Yeah, it rolls right off the tongue. It's so Nico Mikola. It's like,
Yeah.
ooh. Is that butter that I'm tasting? Buttery?
Right? My ears feel like butter. For
I think you
LA,
might need to get
we
that
have
checked.
that's a little bit weird. That's how it would feel. Anyway, for LA, we have Trevor Lewis with an lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 8th. Drew Doughty with an ankle injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 20th. And then this was earlier today, head coach Jim Hiller said that Doughty has resumed skating. Zach Dooley of the Kings official site reports. So.
He hasn't played much this season.
No.
I want to
But
say.
I also think he's like my age, so I can't really blame him.
Actually, he has not played at all this season.
And then lastly, we have Trevor Moore for LA on IR, expected to be out until at least January 1st with an upper body injury. And he was just placed on IR on Saturday this past week, so the 28th, I think. Yes, 28th. For Minnesota, pains me to say, Kirill Kaprizov is out with a lower body injury, expected to be out until at least January 2nd. So thankfully, it's a quick little injury. And then we still have Jakub Lako, with a lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 2nd. So he should be back soon as well. For Montreal, we don't have anybody new. For Nashville, we have Cole Smith. The lower body injury on IR expected to be out until at least February 1st. For New Jersey, we have Santeri Hataka. Sure. Yeah. I think I got it last week, which makes me sad that my brain won't process it this week. For New Jersey, out with that shoulder injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 6th. For New York Islanders, we have Simon Holmstrom with an upper body injury, expected to be out until at least January 2nd. And Semyon Varlamov with a lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 5th. And a little note, really moving him around on IR. If you're interested in that, it's kind of an old note, so Chris should cut all of that out. For the New York Rangers, we have Igor Shushkin. I use my fucking bully. I can't say it. Thank you. With an upper body injury on IR, expect to be out until at least January 7th. Which must have happened recently, in like last week, because I looked at my team recently.
Within the past couple days.
Yeah, okay. For Ottawa, we have Anton Forsberg with a lower body injury on IR, expect to be out until at least January 2nd. David Perron with an upper body injury on IR, expect to be out until at least January 7th. And as of the 28th, he was placed on IR retroactive to the November 23rd. So we have been talking about him for a while again. I think it was this way last season too.
He missed the first third of the season last year, and again this year he's not starting off well, which sucks. I like Perron.
Yeah, I do too. And another name kind of in that same boat with Linus Ullmark, expected now to be out till at least January 7th. And then as of the 27th, the TSN Ottawa reported that he would not be traveling with the Senators on their road trip.
Yeah, so if we see him back, he'll probably be back first of the year in their first home stand.
With that back injury.
Yeah.
And then we have Michael Amadio. With an upper body injury, expected to be out until at least January 7th. As of the 27th, it says Amadio will be unavailable for a while, coach Travis Green told TSN Ottawa on Friday. So, for Philly, we still have one of my faves, Nikki Deloyer, out with an upper body injury, and this says on AR, expect to be out until at least January 5th. But it sounds like he's kind of playing the week-to-week thing right now.
Right.
For Pittsburgh, we have Chris Letang. That's a hard one to see on the list again. On IR, expect to be out until at least January 5th. And Owen Pickering, he is out with a concussion on AR. Expect to be out until at least January 3rd. And then the notes say, as of today, Pickering, the concussion, will remain sidelined for Tuesday's game against the Red Wings, despite fully practicing in the Penguins' morning skate.
Yeah,
Penguins
so probably a precautionary thing to hold him off. And again, with situations like that, it doesn't hurt to just hold your guy out for one more, make sure he's fully 100%.
Right.
Like there's no shame in doing that for a player. You know, you want to look out for their health.
Absolutely. Right. But yeah, so for San Jose, we have Fabian Zetterlund with an upper body injury listed as day-to-day. Mark Edward Vlasic on IR, expected to be out until at least January 7th. He has that back injury. We have William Eklund with an upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 2nd. And then the notes were, as of today, that he was placed on IR. Jake Wallman, expected to be out until at least January 2nd. And it just says, wouldn't be a matchup for Tuesday's matchup versus the Flyers. Carl Grundstrom is out for undisclosed reasons. Won't play Tuesday against Philly, is what this note says. And then Vitek Vanacek with that face injury. He is listed as on IR, expected to be out until at least January 4th. And he is week to week with a fractured cheekbone. For Seattle, we have Joey Decord out with an upper body injury, listed as day-to-day. For St. Louis, we have Radek Faksa. The lower body injury right? Feel like it's like a printer fax machine, like hybrid thing. I think that's what the name of it is. Anyway, expect to be out until at least January 3rd with a lower body injury. And Nick Leddy, we've been talking about, lower body injury, expect to be out until at least January 7th is the newest update. For Tampa Bay, we have Jake Gensel with an upper body injury listed as day-to-day. As of today, the 31st, head coach John Cooper said that Gensel upper body is day-to-day ahead of Tuesday's road matchup against the Sharks.
That hurts my team.
Yeah. For Toronto, we have Yanni Hakanpää with a knee injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 9th. And then as of today, the 31st, this is Hakanpää knee was placed on long-term injured reserve Tuesday. And we have Olivier Ekman Larson is out with an illness, expected to be out until at least January 2nd. He caught it today. We all know what that is. Syphilis bus.
Beep, beep.
Beep, beep, motherfucker. Austin Matthews is out with an upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 2nd.
Why?
And
Why
circling
give
back
him to me for fantasy hockey and not let me have him?
Partying with Oliver is Pontus Holmberg. Out with an illness, expected to be out until at least January 2nd. He was ruled out for today's game against the Islanders. Buzz, me.
Former Duck, Pontus Holmberg.
What a great name, too.
It's a great name.
Pontus Holmberg.
It's a great name, Pontus Holmberg.
Utah Hockey Club. We have Connor Ingram out with an upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 14th. And Robert Bertuzzo with a lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January. For the Vancouver Canucks, we have Elias Pettersson with an undisclosed injury, expected to be out until at least January 6th. Quinn Hughes with an undisclosed injury, expected to be out until at least January 6th. And a little update here on Philip Hronek. Sure.
Yeah.
Hronek.
Yeah.
Update as of the 27th, the head coach Rick Touche said Friday that Hronek lower body has resumed skating per
That's good.
ConnectsArmy.com. So nice to hear that he is back skating at the very least.
Yes.
For the Vegas Golden Knights, we have Nicholas Roy. Wow. With an upper body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 2nd. And Ivan Barbashev with an upper body injury, expected to be out until at least January 2nd. For the Washington Capitals, update on Sonny Milano and his great hair and that upper body injury. Still on IR, expected now to be out until at least the 28th of January. And for the Winnipeg Jets, we have Hayden Fleury with a lower body injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 4th. And he was placed on IR as of December 30th, so just this week, per the NHL media site. Also for Winnipeg, we have Dylan Sandberg with a foot injury on IR, expected to be out until at least January 7th. Mason Appleton with a lower body injury, expected to be out until at least January 14th.
Ooh.
But not on IR. And that's all I have for the injured boys, the boo-boo boys.
Well, heck yeah. So, let's talk about fantasy hockey and our fantasy league. We just wrapped up week 12. Go down the line of some scores. Maul took the win over Danger, 85-74. D beat Dave, 94-73. Wes, who has been crushing it, beat Marcello, 92-62. Drew beat fucking what's his name? John. There it is. We got it. John, 91-57. And the biggest upset of the season. There are no more undefeated teams. As Matt finally was the one to stop me when he beat me 97-76.
I have no idea how that happened.
So what happened
but
was,
I kind of love it.
The Wild had that big day. The Wild had that big game, and then there were 3 days off, so I had no chance to catch him. But I sent him a congrats. I said big ups. I was like, he's the first one to beat me.
Yep.
D was like, "Is it my turn to beat you now?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work like that." That moves me to 11-1. This week's matchups are the couple is doing battle. Dave and Danger are facing off right now. Maul and John are facing off against each other. Matt is playing Drew, Marcello, and D, and then myself and Wes. Wes is beating me by a point right now. If we go to the standings, I'll just give the playoff projections right now. Number 1 seed would still be myself at 11-1. Number 2 seed would be D at 9-3. Number 3 seed would be Wes at 8-4. And number 4 seed is Drew at 7-5. So I don't know what happened to your team, Danger. You're
I've had a
squeaking
lot of
towards
other
that
stuff going on.
basement. That's fair. That is fair. Um, dude, it is wild to look at Dave just sitting right there with a record of 5-7. Like if Drew or Wes starts losing more games and Dave keeps winning, there's a shot Dave could make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. I'm super excited for that. Can you tell?
But I don't, and this isn't cocky. This is just like the reality of it. When you look at overall teams and who's doing the best, I think it's going to end up with the finals being myself and D.
Yeah.
Like the way our
Fair.
teams are set up, and even she's like, I don't think I'd win that battle. I don't know. We'd have to see. That'll be fun. But that is the updates currently for the hockey league, the fantasy hockey league. I have a trivia question for you.
Ruh-roh.
No, you should be fine. We're talking about
Mhm.
big winning streaks and losing streaks. The Buffalo Sabres planted themselves on the list this year for longest losing streaks. They lost 13 straight games.
Mhm.
Here's a question. Two-part question. What is the record for most consecutive losses? And then who is the team that holds that record? So if you could tell me if you can at least tell me what you think that number is. And then if you want to take a guess for bonus points on who the team is.
Okay, most consecutive losses. We haven't seen something like that in a while.
Long time.
Like a lifetime for some people.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you that this was set a long time ago. All right, we'll start with what do you think the number is? What do you think that total number would be? That consecutive
I
loss.
think it's a lot. I'll top that out and go like 16.
You are fucking one off. 17 is the
Okay.
two teams have done it. Can you guess like at least one of them? Just throw a team out.
Oh God.
17 losses. It's happened twice.
Oh, I hate to be that person, but Anaheim.
No, thankfully. They
Okay.
thankfully they're like not on this list. It's the Washington Capitals. In 1974-75 lost 17 straight. And then it happened again
Oh no.
by the San Jose Sharks in 92-93. They lost 17 straight from January 4th to February 12th. Ironically enough, the Pittsburgh Penguins hold the record for longest consecutive win streak at 17.
Right.
And you know what year they did that? 92-93.
Why?
So to round out this wacky zany episode of
I'm
Of
learning things about how my computer already hates me.
your computer is straight up just dyslexic. We are
Yeah.
going to move on to our obscure NHL player of the week. I didn't murder it this time. This week we have a player by the name of Jeff Odgers. He was born in Spy Hill, Saskatchewan. He went undrafted in the 1990 NHL draft. He played 821 career games in the NHL. He had 75 goals, 70 assists, 2,364 goals, making him the all-time franchise leader in what team?
I have no fucking clue.
Would be the San Jose Sharks with
course.
1,001 penalty minutes.
Okay.
He spent his career with the San Jose Sharks, Boston Bruins, Colorado Avalanche, and then finished his career with the Atlanta Thrashers. He is on the list of let's see, where is he at? He is in the top 50 in career penalty minutes in NHL history. He's 27th. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
In 2006, Odgers served as color commentator for an Atlanta Thrashers preseason game. It was believed to be an on-air tryout alongside longtime Thrashers announcer Dan Kamal. He got the job and served as color commentator on the radio for 2 seasons. At the beginning of the 08-09 season, it was announced that he would not return because he wanted to spend more time with his family. He spent the 08-09 season as a trainer for his son John's team, the Yorkton Midget Kinsman Terriers of South Saskatchewan Minor Hockey League. The 2009-2010 season, he coached the Bantam AA Yorktown Terriers. For another son of his, Dakota, was a member of that squad. Ottinger, outside of hockey, Odgers manages his family farm as well as conducts safety training at the Mosaic K3 mine site in Saskatchewan. Big shout out to Jeff Odgers. What a wild career and an interesting life.
Hell yeah.
We love to see that. And we are continuing on the list as we stated this year of we're going to hit all 32 teams and their career or their franchise leaders in penalty minutes because that's something we love here is penalty minutes. I think that about wraps it up for us today. Thank you guys so much for bearing with us. We're a little slap happy tonight. It's just a little bit. If you guys enjoyed the episode, please make sure you like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Let you know anytime we post content over here. Also follow our other socials. Check us out on TikTok where we post exclusive content you can't find in the podcast that directly is over there, and it's actually going to be uploaded to YouTube Shorts as well, so you guys can have that. But is anything you want to say before we sign off?
No, Happy New Year. We're recording this on New Year's Eve, so just
it's about 9:30 on New Year's Eve.
Yeah, about 8:25 for me. So
yeah, that's right, because you're an hour behind.
But yeah, no, just Happy New Year. Please, God, let this year be better.
Dude, right. I think everyone's kind of saying that. It's like, can we just get one, please? Just like half a year. Give me half a good year. I'm happy with that.
6 months would be great, yeah.
As I always like to end these, peace, love, puss suitor. And until we see you mother puckers again, Happy New Year and best of luck in 2025.